Welcome back to Culz Reviews, the series where we check out different movies and documentaries and stuff and let you know what we think of it. Because we're gearing up for our Billy the Kid documentary we've been working on for about a year at least, I'd say.
Yeah.
We're just going to dive back into some Billy the Kid documentaries, starting off with the History Channel's Cowboys and Outlaws, The Real Billy the Kid. So, as usual, my name's Keegan. Joining me tonight is
Matt.
Hi, I'm Andrew.
Alright, so this is a series, I guess. I haven't watched the other episodes, and I don't think these guys have either.
There's episodes?
Yeah, this is just one. There's Tom Horn, who's actually buried up in Boulder, so maybe we'll watch that and do a documentary on Tom Horn, which you should have seen in our Lafayette Vampire video. Watch it, guys. Watch it. But it kind of tells, I guess, an abridged story of Billy the Kid. There's lots of missing gaps that I definitely noticed, especially compared to last year's BBC Billy the Kid episode that we watched, which was, I would say that was much better right off the bat.
I would agree with that.
Absolutely.
So I guess before we get into maybe some of the differences or things I was like, why did they do it that way? We'll jump to these guys and maybe talk about things we learned. So Matt, what did you learn from this episode?
Nothing that I really didn't already know. You said it.
We did watch the BBC one, so. Unfortunately, I think we started off with the best one.
First.
Yeah, I mean, it didn't really give this one a chance after that.
Hey, we still got that Nat Geo on, though. That new Nat Geo is pretty cool. I do enjoy that one. So, Andrew, anything you learned from this one?
No, nothing new. In fact, they left quite a few things out, and I was a little disappointed with that, because it left things open, and it kind of made it not make sense.
Yeah, so maybe we'll kind of turn it, because if you're watching our channel, there's lots of Billy the Kid stuff up there. So you'll probably have heard the story multiple times. You're probably getting sick of it. Don't get sick of it, though, because our documentary is going to be awesome. Let's turn it and tell us maybe things that there was, like, errors that they filmed, like streets. I didn't understand why. I mean, I don't know. I think you could just film a little bit higher. Film a little bit higher.
The thing that always bothers me is when you reuse a scene over and over and over again. And when you do that, to me, it kind of ruins the experience for me. I enjoyed the photography and how they filmed it, but again, reusing scenes, it reduced the quality of the video.
Or the other thing was, how about when the officer was shot and killed on top of the gravestone that was already in place for where he was shot and killed. It's kind of like, hey, look, he was killed right where he was shot and killed.
I will say, at least, hey, they went to Lincoln. We've been to Lincoln. At least they filmed there. Mm-hmm. But yeah, they definitely could have hidden it better, such as like Young Guns, which we'll get to. We'll take a Saturday. We'll watch both, and we'll talk about it for you guys. But yeah, like Young Guns, they went to Carrillos, and they just put dirt on the street.
Yeah.
I think if you put a little bit of dirt, and I know at one part they did hide it because they like desaturated the Tunstall store, so it was like a gray, so the street kind of blended in with everything.
It almost looked like gravel.
It
was
did.
Close. But it still looked like a street.
Yeah, I mean, you could see the yellow lines. To be fair, the first time I watched it, I just listened to it. And so when I watched it, and I was like, I saw the streets, it did take me out of it. But then there was parts, even Andrew questioned while we were watching it, like when Tunstall was shot. The story seemed a little bit different than I think what the accepted story now is.
So the story goes in the BBC episode, Tunstall gets separated from them. There's a chase, and Tunstall kind of goes out of sight, and he gets shot. And in the History Channel one, he's basically just kind of distracted, and Tunstall's still in sight, and all of a sudden he gets shot in front of him.
And it was a lone guy, just a random one person.
Right.
When even in we know it was a whole posse rounded up by the sheriff to go kill him. And it was a bunch of criminals. It was a bunch of people that probably should have been in jail more than Billy.
Right.
And for the fact that he didn't go with them, he knew what was going to happen. Also, with the BBC one, they showed how Billy was in jail during Tunstall's funeral and that.
Right.
It was almost like they taunted him with it.
Right.
Yeah.
And I felt like that really built Billy's animosity even more than what he already had. Especially the way they did it. I mean, in here, they really only show the sheriff one time. Okay, they show him more than one time, but it's the same shot.
It's
over and over and over. And when documentaries do that, it's like, okay, I get you're trying to save a little bit of money. BBC didn't do that. BBC did not do that. And then I guess the last thing we can say, the photography part with the regulators, I felt odd because, to my knowledge, there's not a photograph like that. There is a photograph that's of the regulators.
Yeah. It's funny because they even say that there's only one photograph of them.
Yeah, they do say that there's only one photograph, and which for the time there was. We'll get to Nat Geo and the second croquet photograph. And then if you look at our Instagram, there's also the possibility of him playing poker. So there is definitely more than just one now.
Right.
Obviously, people are searching for it because they're worth a lot of money. The tintype that they show, that's obviously a negative, which we know now. We've known that for quite a bit, obviously, before this episode.
Well, for the longest time, they thought he was left-handed because of it.
Yeah, the left-handed gun, you know, there's the movie, there's lots of novels. I think there's a couple songs even where they, because it's negative, tintypes come out as a negative and then they have to be flipped. And so that's all we had was the negative. They didn't know it was the negative. But yeah, the way the photograph was taken, I mean, the guy was taking multiple pictures, and it's just like, why did you set it up like that? Because clearly we don't have that picture.
Right.
Obviously now we do have a possible picture with Billy the Kid and the regulators playing croquet at what might be Charlie Beaudry's wedding. It might be a wedding picture they talked about, but we'll get to that in Nat Geo maybe in a week or so. So before we get to ratings recommendations, let's talk about some things we liked, because I feel like we've been kind of mean.
Let's do one more negative, because the
negative.
ending sucked.
Oh, I totally forgot about that. It was so bright. Like, I get you're on a budget, but like, I mean, how Billy's been described as being killed is he walked up, he saw the two on the porch and kind of backed back into the room. And it's dark and he turned KNS. And he saw a shadow, but he probably thought it was Maxwell. Obviously it wasn't, it was Garrett. And he actually never saw the guy that shot him. I mean, even Pat Garrett said that, and Pat Garrett, if he wanted to, could have said it was a big gunfight. He didn't. To his credit, he did make up that part most likely. There's a lot of parts of the authentic Billy the Kid thing that you're like, okay, he definitely sprinkled on a little bit of
just a little bit
magic onto that to make himself seem better, or to make the kid seem worse. But yeah, I mean, the ending, at least he was only shot twice, or shot at twice, which is true. The fact that he walks into the room, Garrett just stands up and points the gun at him, and he's just all like,
KNS.
he says KNS like twice, then he looks at him just for like the longest time, and Garrett's just like, if that really happened, Garrett would have died. Because from at least what we know, while Billy might not have been the fastest person in the West, he probably was considerably faster than Garrett. I mean, Garrett wrote that in the book that if he didn't draw, well, Billy didn't know he was there, he would have died.
Yep.
Yeah, another negative. But let's get to some good stuff. Some pros about this. Because it wasn't bad. It's definitely better than both the Butch Cassidy ones we watched. Just unfortunately, we did start off with the BBC one, because it's probably the best one so far. Alright, so Andrew, we'll start with you. What is pro for this documentary?
Well, I did like the cinematography. It was really cool seeing a bunch of places that we've actually been to. Just looking at me like, oh, look, that's where we were.
Yeah, we were just there. Yeah, it was pretty cool. I mean, I think there was a part where each of us were like, oh yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
I mean, it was almost a year ago at this point, but it's still super fresh right up there.
Right.
Alright, Matt, what about you?
Whoa, boy, there's so much to choose from. Probably going to say about the same as Andrew, just being able to see the locations where we've been, and it's like, hey, I know right where that is, actually.
Yeah, and I'll say for me, locations obviously now, when you use the authentic one, it's always like, alright, I know that's real. You walk by it, I've walked by it in real life. It's awesome. Alright, so at least with this one, Brett Mcdonough also didn't do too bad as Billy the Kid. Maybe not as good as David Leon from the BBC one.
Well, there wasn't as much verbiage either.
Not as much verbiage, but at least it looked like he was having fun with the part. He definitely knew the poses, like when he took the photo. Even when it was with the group, he at least had that iconic Billy tin type look. So at least he looked like he was having fun and at least fit the age group. Much better than the American West. It's a terrible series. We'll talk about it. Start to finish. I had to watch it just to see how
I had to watch,
Well-
so you guys didn't have to.
Yeah, we'll watch it so you don't have to. And they don't look like, in that one, no one looks like it. Here they got something, you're like, okay, well, his hair might be a little too short. I can at least
Pretty
kind of see.
similar. Pretty
Yeah. David Leon so far is the best, but Nat Geo might, I mean, we'll see. Nat Geo might step up to the podium. But this is the part of the review where we get to our recommendations and ratings. So we'll start with Andrew.
It's a tough one. I don't know if I would give it a 4 or a 5
That low.
out of 20.
It's out of 10, man. Oh,
Oh, I'm sorry. So maybe a 1?
a 1.
I'd give it a 1. No, I'd give it a 2. I'd give it a 2 because I like the cinematography.
Alright, so he's a little bit more harsh than I definitely am going to be. So do you recommend this?
You know, there is basic information in there. I mean, watching any documentary to me is always a good idea.
But I ruined you guys by watching the BBC first.
Yeah, you did. You spoiled us and then you gave us crap.
That damn Wild West. So, Matt, what about you?
I'll go with a 3. You know?
3. You guys are way
3.
more harsh on it than I'm going to be.
Well, I mean, there was... I mean, the actors were good, even though they didn't have any dialogue.
Very little dialogue.
There's the 1, and then the cinematography, there's the 2. And I guess I could almost give it a 3 because there is some information in there that is beneficial.
See, for me, I would probably give this like a 6.5.
Really?
Yeah, like I didn't think it was that bad. It's definitely a good starting off point, and maybe because I did just watch the American West, I'm a little tainted where I'm like, well, this is a little bit better. Maybe I should go with it. I'll give it a 6 out of 10.
Okay.
6 out of 10, yeah.
See, unlike Andrew, though, I'm not going to recommend
You're not going to recommend
it.
it.
I'm not going to recommend it.
Wow.
Just because there's not enough now that the information they're providing is not necessarily true. There's too much now that has me second guessing what they're saying. I mean, if it's not accurate and they're starting to portray stuff that did not happen, I can't recommend it as a documentary then because they're giving you advice then that necessarily is not true.
Well, I mean, you got your basic points. The sheriff started some stuff. Somebody died. Billy got revenge. He went to jail. He escaped. Got married.
You didn't get married.
Oh, you're right. I'm sorry.
You have a girlfriend?
If you had a girlfriend.
Girlfriend.
I was like, if that's in there, I'm going to have to drop that to 2 out of 10.
No, I'm sorry. You're right. Had a girlfriend. And then got shot.
Yeah, you are right, though. There is quite a bit of things that I was like, I don't know if we should. All right, I'm going to have to drop this 5.5 out of 10. I did start off kind of good, but yeah, the more I thought about it, I was like, I don't know. Because I'm trying to think what I gave the BBC one, and I can't have it anywhere near that one. Because it, I mean, but it is better than the Butch Cassidy ones, which I think I gave a 3 or 4 to.
Here's the thing to think about too, though. Honestly, if you're telling somebody, "Hey, we want to teach you about Billy the Kid," are you really going to recommend this one? I mean, we're trying to compare here and give them advice. I would much rather have them watch the BBC
I recommend that you
version.
get as much information
Billy
as
the Kid.
possible.
Yeah, like us, we are gonna get so Billy the Kid out, like, just we're gonna be experts at this by July.
You don't want to just sit at one topic or
Yeah, I guess it is good to kind of see everything. I mean, I'm even reading the Authentic Life of Billy the Kid, which a lot of historians and we know is highly inaccurate now. there's a Yeti. But yeah, I mean, the amount of stuff that is wrong, I'm not going to say I can't recommend it. It is going to be lower on the recommendations for Billy the Kid material, especially some of the books I've read. I'd even recommend the Brushy Bill one over it, and there was some issues with it. I'm not going to say if I believe it yet, you have to watch the documentary. I can't say I don't recommend it, but 5.5 I think is what I'm going to give it.
I changed mine to a 3 from a 2.
You came up, I went quite a bit down.
Mm-hmm.
Matt is just over there like, BBC,
Three, but no
BBC, BBC. Yeah, but like I said at the beginning of the video, we are going to have a ton of Billy the Kid information, so if you want to actually learn about Billy the Kid, but just stay tuned to this channel all month long, and I'm sure you'll learn something, or at least learn some sources, be it books, magazines, comics, movies, documentaries that you should actually watch to try to get a clearer picture. Even though our documentary might be the best, I'm just kidding, I can't say that.
And please, if you have any questions, let us know in the comments below.
Yeah, let us know. Tell us Billy the Kid stuff. We will even watch the Val Kilmer one.
Yes.
Because Val Kilmer is
Because Val Kilmer.
in Wild West movies. I'm your Huckleberry. Alright, so if you want to see more Culz reviews, click that link right over Andrew's face. If you want to see more of what we do here at Culz Paranormal, including spending the night at the Sasquatch Outpost, click that link over Matt. And don't forget to hit that like and give us a
Subscribe.
And help us solve this debate. What's the best Billy the Kid movie? Is it The Young Guns 1 or 2? Gore Vidal's Billy the Kid? Or Pat Garrett and Billy the Kid? Let us know in the comments below.